How was your week,
It's
guys?
too long, too long.
Well, for some people, it's too short. It's amazing how today is Monday and then tomorrow is Friday.
That's true. That's true. It's crazy how this year has been passed through. It's crazy. We are now in the end of the year, and I haven't lived nothing of this year. It's been inside my house all the time. That's awful, man. It's like you have a gap in your life. That's crazy.
Well, I've been in my house since last November, so about a year, working from home and not going anywhere. Uh,
Same thing here. I've been working from home, and the trees has been working more than goes to the office. It's crazy.
yeah, yeah. Well, I guess soon it will be, over.
Yeah.
Yes,
At least we have a job, which is good. We
sure.
can say that we are blessed.
Yes. Okay, guys. So I hope that your week was great and you studied, and you know, uh, I still don't have all the students that are supposed to be in Google Classroom. Okay, I sent an invitation to all the students that gave me a Gmail account. Okay, so it's very important, guys, that you have access to Google um, Classroom because I'm posting the PowerPoints there. All right, let me see. So, missing a lot of students that have not accepted the invitation from me. Okay.
Professor Otano,
Yes, go ahead.
um, are we going to discuss the exam that we did last week? The,
Exam?
are we going to discuss the exam that we did last week? The, the answers to,
Um, well, if you want to, but not necessarily.
okay, no,
Uh,
if we don't have to. I just,
yeah, I mean, it's the answer doesn't have to be exact as the feedback.
right. So that was the thing I had. So I took the test and it, I got a very low score. And I was like, well,
Yeah,
the answers seem to have to be the same.
correct. Correct. I have a bunch of exams that you guys going to start receiving soon. Those are actual exams that are graded. You know, like an actual exam in AWS. This one is just to solidify your knowledge. Uh, the knowledge acquired from the PowerPoints that we saw last week, and it has feedback. So the point of this assignment is for you guys to check the feedback and see the similarity between your answer and the feedback. It doesn't have to be exactly the same.
Okay.
But if you are there, somewhere there, in the answer, you're good to go. You're good. You don't have to worry about that. Okay?
Okay. All right.
But it's not a great exam. It's just for feedback, getting feedback more than
Okay.
anything.
All right. Thank you.
But you could understand everything, right? When you saw the answer, right?
Some of them I had questions on. Some of the questions. Well, you know what? I needed to go back to reread the answers because some of the questions seemed like they were repetitive. It
Yeah,
seemed like
yeah.
they
That,
so
that's possible. That's
and
possible.
some of the questions also answered some of the answers to one of the questions answered something else or whatever. Some of
Mhm.
the, but I have to reread it and probably retry it again.
Okay.
So, thank you.
So everybody here in class, um, accepted my invitation to Google Classroom. Everybody here?
Yes, at least I accept the invitation.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because everything is automated through Google Classroom now. Okay. So you're gonna receive your PowerPoints. Last week, I think I posted the PowerPoints on Slack, right? I did, right?
Yeah,
I'm not supposed to do that. That's why I'm using Google Classroom. Okay.
Posted what?
Last week I posted my PowerPoints on Slack.
you pinned the PowerPoints. Let me see if it's
I pinned them, but I'm not supposed to do that.
okay.
I'm not supposed to post them. That's copyright, content, right?
Yep.
So what I did is just I'm using um, Google Classroom now and Nearpod. So Nearpod is going to send. Well, actually, I used Nearpod last week. I'm sorry. I just posted the link. Okay. Now Nearpod is going to be much easier because now the link comes with the code. Now the link comes with a code. You just have to click on the link and that's it. You don't need to enter any code. Okay. And that's the good thing about it. All the assignments, you're gonna have a bunch of assignments coming your way every class after class. Um, all the exams are programmed to be delivered to you a specific day. I think we finish on December 4th. Uh, December 4th, I think December 12th is when we finish. December 12th? Yes. So you're gonna start receiving probably your exams on November 27 or 28.
There is a echo. Somebody might be near to me.
Yeah, whatever. Don't worry. I'll take care of that. All right, so so Google Classroom is very important, guys. So if you received an email from me, please accept the invite and join Google Classroom. Because that's how you're going to receive every single assignment, every single PowerPoint, every single notification for exams. That's going to be the guy. Okay. And everything has been programmed already. So it's going to be automated. Okay. So keep an eye on your email. Diego, I know you're here. Diego, you are one of the students that have not accepted my invitation to Google Classroom. So please do so because that's the only way that you're going to see um, um, your PowerPoint in your email. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody here in class that have not accepted that invitation, please do so that you can, have access to all the things there. Okay.
Hello, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Who's this?
This is Howard.
Okay, Howard, go ahead.
Okay. My question, I just got on, but I was actually on earlier. Well, I was watching it through the YouTube, trying to find the link to come into Zoom.
Okay, you're breaking up.
I was listening to the class, and I had questions about the quizzes. Well,
How are you breaking up? I cannot understand what you're saying.
I apologize about that. I think there's something wrong with the system. Um,
No, I cannot understand what you're saying, Howard.
yeah, I was Can you hear me now? I'll ask the question later because I think it's kind of breaking up, and then
I can hear you. Howard, I can hear
I'll
you.
just.
I cannot understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's UN because happened the same for me.
You're breaking up. I cannot understand what you're saying. I know you're there. I know you're talking, but I don't know what you're saying.
Type the question.
Okay. Does anyone else have a question?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Just to be clear, when the course is done, we'll be taking the actual Amazon AWS Cloud Practitioner exam
Yes.
with, you know, for a typical scenario where we have to go onto Amazon site and schedule the exam there.
No, you can
That's
take
correct.
it. You can take it online. We're gonna schedule it. We're gonna schedule it before the class ends. Probably next week or the week after. We have 7 meetings. This is the second one. Probably on meeting 3 or 4, we're gonna schedule the exam. So I'm going to request the vouchers to purchase the exam. Okay, and then the exam should be taken just you know, some days after the class. So it's not going to be that far because you know, this grant is, you know, um, given by the government, and the government, you know, requests that or requires that students take the exam not too far from the end of the course. Um, and yeah, we should be ready for a few days after. All right? Did that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
So guys, I have right now I have 18, 17 people in my class. So again, before I start, if you haven't accepted the invitation from Google Classroom, please do so. That's the only way that you can get the PowerPoints
Mr. Atano,
for today's.
I see that the email is supposed to say class invitation, but I don't have that email.
You don't
I
have
only
it?
have an email regarding that I haven't been accepted, or I haven't accepted the invitation.
Okay. So try to use this code. So I'm gonna put it on Slack. Accept this code, please.
That's the code?
This one here.
Thank you, Professor.
Code, guys, if you don't receive your email, that's the code to accept the invitation or to join the class. Okay. Good. So guys, could you study during the week?
Yes.
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 All right. So don't forget that, you know, this class requires and demands more efforts from you guys because we meet only once a week and there's a huge gap between sessions. So I'm available. You can contact me for questions, all that. But remember, this is an atypical class. It's not like a class from Monday to Friday or 3 times a week. It's just once a week for 6 hours. And it's not typical. So it just demands that you study much more. Okay? I'll be on top of everything. I created a system that's going to be sending you information, and you know, for you guys to take a look at. There might be things that are not related to the class, but it's just for you to know more about the cloud. Okay, and so on and so forth. You know, like exams, assignments, things like that. Okay. So now let's begin. Okay? If you don't have any questions, guys, we can start. Right? Now, our second module, this is our third module, but is module 2 because the first one was module 0. Okay. This is about cloud economics and billing. Okay. Very important for the exam. Okay. So the topics of this module is fundamental pricing, total cost of ownership, simple monthly calculator, introduction to AWS Organizations, AWS billing and cost management, an overview of AWS technical support plans and costs. Okay. Okay. There's a demonstration here that I'm gonna give it to you. Activity simple monthly calculators, support plans, scavenger hunt, and the knowledge check. So we're gonna do all this today. Okay, it's gonna be a long day. Okay, so after completing the module, you should be able to explain the pricing philosophy from AWS, recognize fundamental pricing characteristics, indicate the elements of total cost of ownership, discuss the elements of simple monthly calculator, identify how to set up an organizational structure that simplifies billing and account visibility to review cost data, identify the functionality in the AWS billing board, describe how to use AWS bills, AWS cost explorer, AWS budgets, and AWS costs and usage reports. Identify the various AWS technical support plans and features. Okay? So let's begin. Fundamentals of pricing. Okay. So these are, guys, you have to understand that the three fundamental drivers of cost to AWS. These are the only things that you're charged for in AWS. Right? These are the things that are like the cost your account to be charged. Okay? Compute, storage, and data transfer. Okay? But when it comes to data transfer, it's just outbound transfer. Okay? Not inbound transfer. Whatever goes out is going to be charged. But there's some exceptions. Okay? But you never charge for data transfer in. Okay? No in, always out. So when it comes to compute, right? Compute, it depends on the operating system. Okay? In the case of Linux, you're going to be charged per hour, per second. Okay? Now, if it is Windows, it's a different method of billing, like per hour. But per hour per second is Linux. And it depends also on the instance type. If it is a T2 micro, a T2 small, T2 micro, a T2, T3 small, T3 micro. If it's T4 small, T4 micro, depending on the instance type, okay? That's gonna be what's gonna cost that. Now, when it comes to storage, if it is S3, if it is EBS, if it is EFS, all those files, storage services, you're gonna be charged per gigabyte, okay? There's some exceptions when it comes to the free tier, which is the account that you guys have now. When it comes to compute, you have 750 hours per month for EC2s, right? And you have up to 5 gigabytes for S3 buckets, okay? Now, data transfer outbound is aggregated and charged. You're gonna be charged for outbound, no matter what. But there's some exceptions that I will tell you about later, okay? Inbound has no charge with some exceptions. So there's some exception for this one too. And typically you're charged by per gigabyte, okay? We're gonna talk more in details further.
The question.
Go ahead.
I may be jumping the gun. So if I back up to the cloud, you're saying the transfer up to the cloud may possibly be free?
You mean out?
In.
In is free.
Sending my backups to the cloud.
Yeah, it's free.
Okay.
But saving the backups is not free.
Correct.
So you sending it is free, but saving it is not.
And
it is not now if you're within the 5 gigabytes, right? Of usage of storage. But after 12 months, you're gonna be charged for that. You understand?
Yes, I was thinking more along the lines of a business, okay. You know, where we're backing up several terabytes to the cloud.
Yeah.
You know,
several terabytes. Well, you have to see. You get to a point where you have to use another service. There's a service called Snowball, right? Snowball is a physical box that AWS ships to you. you use the Snowball agent, you install it, and then you upload the information, the data in the box, right? And then you ship the box back to AWS. And when it arrives at the AWS facility, they put it in an S3 bucket. Okay. If it is, small amount of data, you can send it, through the internet. Just upload it in the S3 bucket, right? But if it is in the order of the petabytes or terabytes, big, like 100 terabytes or something, just a lot of information, you would have to do it through Snowball. And if it is in the petabytes, exabytes, even bigger, you have to use another service called Snowmobile, which is a truck. A truck will go to your company, and you upload information there, and the truck goes back to AWS, right, with the information. And then you can track the shipment. You can do all kinds of operations until the data is uploaded in an S3 bucket. Okay. But in that case, Snowmobile, you have to pay for the service, right? But when you upload information in an S3 bucket, it doesn't cost you to upload it, right? What costs you is to store it. The storage is what costs, right? In the free tier, you have up to 5 gigabytes of storage for 12 months, right? There's one section here. Let me see the free tier. I think I posted on Slack. Let me take a look at this guy here. This is the free tier, okay? So S3 bucket, 12 months free, up to 5 gigabytes, right? So right now you can upload up to 5 gigabytes of storage, standard, okay? Standard. Not Glacier, any of that is just standard. I think that Glacier also has some limitations. And then you have 20,000 GET requests, trying to get those objects from the S3 bucket. You can do up to 20,000, and that's for free. And you have 2,000 put requests, so you can upload 2,000 put requests per month. All right. And those requests, they have to, total 5 gigabytes or less. Okay. So that's the limit. That's the limit for the free tier. Okay. After that, you're going to be charged per gigabyte. So sending the information there, you don't pay for that. But storing the information in an S3 bucket, you will have to pay for that after the 12 months are, ends. Right? Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Thank you. So how do you pay for AWS? Well, you pay for AWS for what you use. Okay, and that's the good thing about the cloud. You don't have to pay for what you don't use. Okay. So AWS is, this model is not for AWS. This is very standard in companies that have virtual or satellite or any kind of services that they're not. There's through cable or something. The same with pay-per-view like Comcast. You pay for what you view, right? This is not only for AWS. You could use it for Azure or Google. You will pay for what you use. But the pioneers, the first company to explore this and to show it to the public was AWS, okay? Back in 2006, all right? And then after that, Azure was founded in 2010, 4 years later. When these guys, they already had 4 years of experience in the cloud, then Azure was founded. And if you take a look at Azure is pretty similar to AWS, pretty similar. It's like It's like a copy of AWS. Of course, they diversified, they created all the resources, but and they expanded even more because they have more regions than AWS. Okay, but it's a different. I mean, it's a different approach, but the concept is the same. All right. Of course, they don't want to be like AWS. They want to be unique as well, but they have. I mean, if you compare, I think I posted that on my LinkedIn account. If you compare, I posted a link. I don't remember well. I posted a side-by-side comparison of AWS, Azure, and Google, and you see that they have the same services, but they have a different name. Okay. What is Lambda in AWS is Azure Functions in Azure. Another one, it was in CloudWatch. CloudWatch in AWS is Azure Monitor in Azure. So it's just it's pretty standard what they have, and this is not the exception. Pay for what you use. This is very pretty standard in every cloud provider. Okay. Now you pay less when you reserve. There's a way to reserve for 1 year or 3 years. There's no 2 years. There's not 1 year and a half. There's not. It's either 1 year or 3 years. Yeah, that's the term, right? Now, if you think that your traffic is going to be, or your business is going to be selling and selling and selling and selling for the entire year, why not reserve? Instead of paying for what you use, just reserve, right? And the more you reserve, the less you pay. So that's the good thing about this type of pricing model. Okay. Also, you pay less. Just one moment, please. Sorry, guys. Someone knocked on the door. Okay, so and also the other one is you pay less when you use more, and as AWS grows. So that's what gives AWS. That's why AWS can afford massive economies of scale. Okay, that's one of the 6 advantages of the cloud. That when they grow, then you can have more discounts. You will pay less. That's why they have decreased the price like 76 times since 2006. So, it's great to be an AWS customer. Super good. So guys, 4 elements in this pricing model, 4 elements, right? Pay for what you use. That's very important. Pay less when you reserve, pay less when you use more, and pay less as AWS grows. Okay, so that 4 important points when it comes to AWS pricing model. Okay.
You mean 3, but sure.
Well, actually, it's 4, but they put these 2 together. They put this pay less when you use more, and pay less as AWS grows. Okay. So actually, it used to be 4, but now they put them as 3. But I still, separate these 2. Okay, to have it clearly. Okay? So again, I repeat it again because it's important, right? I like to repeat important things. Pay for what you use, pay less when you reserve 1 or 3 years, pay less when you use more, and pay less as AWS grows. Okay? Very important. Now, pay for what you use. Okay? So you pay only for the services that you consume with no large upfront expenses. Guys, you can start in the cloud with zero upfront fees, 0, right? But you have to understand that the less you pay when it comes to starting in AWS, the less discounts you get, right? Remember that you pay less when you reserve, right? When you reserve, you pay less. But if you don't reserve, you're gonna have less discounts. I'm not gonna say you're gonna pay more, but you're gonna have less discounts. And I could, at a certain point, I could say that you're gonna pay more because it's like when you go to a store. Let's say you go to Publix, and then you say, buy one get one 50% off. You're paying more than if you buy two separate, right? So that makes sense. So when you reserve, you're saving money because instead of having an on-demand or a regular EC2 instance for 1 year, right? You're gonna be paying monthly for 1 year. But if you reserve for 1 year, AWS knows that is locked for 1 year, so you're gonna pay much less, right? So they give you that advantage, that benefits of getting more discounts when you reserve, right? It's a general concept. I mean, it applies to a lot of things in life, and AWS is not the exception to the rule. All right. So in the case of reserving, you have 3 different ways to do it. You can do it full upfront, you can do partial upfront, or you can do no upfront at all, right? So you can start from 0. And guys, did you pay any cent when you open your AWS account? Did you pay anything? No one paid anything.
No.
So you can start in the cloud paying $0. You can right now, you have 750 hours of compute of EC2, right? So if you use your EC2 instance 24 hours a day, 30 days a month, right? That's gonna be like 720 hours, right? So for 12 months, you can host a website for free. As simple as that. You just have to be careful how much storage you're gonna consume, because EBS volumes, which is the storage solution for EC2 instances, you have to check what is the limit of EBS volumes, okay? But if you're within the limits, for $0, for nothing, you can host a website for 12 months. So the 12 months, I'm thinking about now, guys, do you have a Miami-Dade College account?
We needed it to register for this class.
Yeah, but do you guys have one? I mean, yes, because I know a way that you guys can get $100 credit without using your credit card. I was told about a way, but you already have your
Late now.
Maybe next time you already have your AWS account, right?
Yeah.
What you have to do is just stay within the limits, okay? Good. So on premises, you're gonna pay a lot. So here, you're gonna pay a lot, right? So, you're gonna pay a lot when you start, in the middle of the way, and then you're gonna pay all the time. Okay. So the difference with AWS is you start here a little money, right? But it says here no large upfront fees, just in case you paid something, then you're gonna use more, right? You pay more, right? You pay more because you're using more, so you're gonna pay more money than here, okay? And it may be a little confusing because when you use more, you pay less, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna pay less than if you use less. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. You pay less compared to the services separately, okay? So if you use more services together, you're gonna pay less than if you use them separately, okay? So that's the concept, right? So here I'm using probably 2 services here, right? And then I need more services, money increments because I have to pay more. I'm using more services here, but then I use less and I pay less. But here in the on-premises, it doesn't matter. You always have to pay for what you have, okay? It's fixed expenses, right? This is variable expenses. Variable. You use less, you pay less. You use more, you pay more for what you use. You pay for what you use. That's exactly the meaning of this. And then you pay for what you use, right? So that's the difference between the cloud and on traditional data centers. Okay, so pay less when you reserve. Okay, that's what I said before, that you have three different ways to do it. All upfront, also known as ORI. Okay, you're gonna see this acronym many times, right? And that stands for reserved instances, RIs. So many times you're gonna see this. Okay, just remember that. Okay, now you can save up to 75%, right? Depending on the option that you choose, right? Now, if you use all upfront, ORIs, you get the largest discount. Okay. I cannot tell you exactly what amount it is, but it is up to 75%. It all depends on what services you're using, right? Or what type of reserved instances you're getting. Remember that reserved instances, the cost depends on the instance type that you're choosing. You're not gonna pay the same if you use a T2 micro that if you use an X5 large. It depends on the instance that you're choosing, right? And based on that, you get the discount. You can do partial upfront, and this is known as PURI, which is partial upfront reserved instance. You get a lower discount, okay? Because you're doing partial upfront. Guys, this is business, and it makes sense, right? So the AWS, like any other business, they prefer to have the money on their side. And when they have the money on their side, they can give you largest discounts because you're already locked in a deal, right? For 1 year, but you pay all up front. So I'll give you more discounts. It's fair. It's fair to both sides, right? And then you have no upfront payments, reserved instances. You still get a smaller discount. Even when you don't pay anything upfront, you get smaller discounts. Okay, and that's also known as NURI. Okay, it's great. I mean, it's a win-win anyway. Anywhere, you always get a discount. Okay. Now, on demands, you're gonna be paying more, right? So reserved saves you money. On demand is just when the need arises, then you're gonna have on-demand instances. The on-demand instances, they're reserved instances. And the more you pay upfront, the more you save. This is ORI, all upfront. This is partial upfront. You save a little less, and then NORI, you save a little even less than these two. Okay, and on demand, of course, you're gonna pay more than the other ones. Okay. Now,
so sorry, just to be clear. So
yes,
with NORI, you actually reserve the space, but you don't pay for it.
With NORI,
yes,
you reserve a space that you don't pay for it. What do you mean?
Correct. Upfront, that is.
Oh,
with NORI, you reserve the instance, but you don't pay for it upfront.
ORI or NORI?
NORI.
Oh, yeah. You reserve instances and you don't pay upfront.
Okay. All right, cool.
You reserve for 1 year or 3 years. Okay? And you don't pay upfront, but you get the smallest discount. Okay? Because you're not paying anything upfront.
Okay.
It's like, guys, when you purchase a house or you purchase a car, if you just put some money down, you're gonna get more discounts, right? Your bill is gonna be lower the more down payment you pay. Sometimes the down payment is for, the dealership, but it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be, deducted from your total amount of the product. Okay, same here, same concept. Okay, same concept. Maybe a little different approach, but the same concept behind it. Okay. Now you pay less by using more. Okay, so see you're using here S3, realized volume-based discounts. Savings as usage increases. Tier pricing for services like Amazon Simple Storage Service, Amazon S3, Amazon EBS, right? Elastic Block Store, Amazon Elastic File System, Amazon EFS. And the more you use, the less you pay per gigabyte. Okay. Start unloading and unloading and unloading and unloading, unloading more, then your gigabytes are gonna be cheaper than if you unload less. Okay. So you're gonna be using these guys, you know, like S3, EBS, EFS, which are the main services for storage, right? I'm gonna give you a demonstration of each when we get there, right? And the more you upload, the more you use it, the less you pay. Okay, so that's the approach that AWS has, and it's very, very effective because AWS has a lot of customers.
This is automatic.
Yeah, and because they have so many customers, they can give you the discounts. Okay, so it's a cycle. It's a cycle, right?
Question, sir.
I'm sorry?
One quick question. So
go ahead.
This change in price happens automatically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, this is, I mean, the goal of all the people that work in technology is to automate things, right? You don't want to be sitting in front of a computer and then, you know, increasing the price. This is all automated, right? So AWS can focus on technology, can focus on, you know, improving their services by automating things. You know, they automate things and forget about this. But, you know, automation doesn't mean that you forget about it, right? You have to supervise it, you have to check on it, because automation gives you a fake sense of security, which is not good. So, because when you automate things, you think, oh, everything's going to be fine. It's going to be, no, you have to, you know, check it if it's working properly, because everything fails. Everything fails. That's the premise upon which AWS was built. The CEO said everything fails all the time. That's why we have to think and we have to design with failure in mind. All right? We have to think that someday it will fail. So that's why I prepare for failure. Right? So this is automated, but you know, you have to keep an eye on it. Okay. Multiple storage services deliver lower storage costs based on needs. Okay. So the more you use, the more services for storage you use, you know, that's gonna save you money. Okay. And it's based on what we saw before, right? You pay less when you use more. Okay. Now, as AWS grows, right? So they are constantly lowering the price, the cost of doing business. Okay. As I said before, 75 times, but this is after September 19. Okay. Since 2006, they have lowered the price 75 times. Can you imagine that, guys? What company in the world has lowered the price that many times? That is crazy. All right. Now, when they're constantly, you know, focusing on doing business and you know, lowering the cost for customers, they can pass all those savings to who? To who? When they lower the cost of service of doing business, they're passing those savings to us, right? To the customers, right? And they're pretty smart people. They're not, I would say, greedy. You know, like they don't want to charge you more to make more money out of you. They want to give you discounts so you can be happy and recommend other people to AWS. Okay. You know, they have a lot of customers, and this is one of the reasons why they have such a huge amount of customers. Okay. So we can benefit from economies of scale. Okay. That's one of the advantages of the cloud. You know, benefit from economies of scale. Okay. Because they can afford to give you discounts based on this. You know, they focus on this and they have more customers, and they start growing and growing, and then who is benefited? I mean, us, right? So guys, if you recommend someone, a customer to AWS, just know that you are, you know, bringing savings your way, because the more customers they have, the more AWS saves money, and the more they can make you save money too. All right. Future high performing resources replace current resources for no extra charge. So that's something important. If you have a resource that is getting old, and then AWS is going to replace it, the one that comes after, you don't have to pay anything for it. Okay, so sometimes they just discontinue one service, right? And if a new one comes, you will not pay for that replacement. Okay. Okay. That's something that happens as well with AWS. Now, custom pricing, meet varying needs through custom prices available for high volume projects with unique requirements. It's like, you may have a special project, and then that project has to be customized. I mean, the price has to be customized and just, tailored to that company's requirement. So that's going to happen too. Okay. So there's not a one size fits all here, right? If you have a big project, then you can get to an agreement with AWS, and they can give you a special price for that project. Okay, that happens too. Okay. Now, the free tier is the one that we're using right now. This is for 1 year, right? Is to acquire hands-on experience, to explore the console, the management console, right? And it's a good way to understand AWS, right? And we're gonna do some activities that will help you for your exam, because visualize the things that you do in the console is very beneficial for your exam. Okay, so you sign up for an AWS account, learn with 10-minute tutorials. They have tutorials there, and start building with AWS. I think that we have done some things in that already there. Okay. And this is for 1 year. Don't forget that. All right. Just when this year is just ended, guys, be careful, because you're going to be charged immediately. Okay. The good thing, I mean, the thing that I don't like about AWS is that, if you leave something running, you're going to be charged for that after 1 year. In the case of Azure gives you an account as well, free for 12 months. But once they give you $200 credit when you start with Azure, when the credit has been consumed already, Azure doesn't charge you. It just limits your access to your services. That's it. Even if you have your credit card there, okay, they don't charge you a cent. AWS will. Okay. Someone had a question?
You're gonna show us how to double check to make sure nothing's running so we won't get charged.
Yes. I will tell you. Don't worry. I'll tell you. In a few minutes. Okay. In fact, I will tell you now before I forget. Okay. So let us come here to AWS, and then in AWS, I'm gonna come to the billing dashboard. Okay. Billing dashboard. So the billing dashboard is going to tell you how much you have consumed for services. For example, EC2 has consumed 0.12 gigabytes out of 1 gigabyte per month. Okay.
Do you have to be logged in as root to be able to do that? Because I think I don't have permissions on my IAM.
Yes, you have to be a root.
Okay.
An IAM user doesn't have access to this. Okay. Let's say if you don't have a bill here, okay, you're good to go. Now, click on bills, and then you can see here what is incurring charges in what region. Okay, so you don't see anything here, right? It means that I don't have anything running right now, right? I don't have anything that is affecting my account, right? And if you want to know exactly what's running, you have to go one by one. Just remember the services that you used, and then just go to the service and see if it is running. If I go here AC2, I see that I don't have any C2 running, right? If I come to probably RDS, I'm using RDS for my morning class, but RDS right now is stopped. I don't keep it running, okay? So I have two databases. One is SQL and one is Postgres. And oh, I left it available. You see, thank you for telling me. Thank you for asking me to check. So I left it running yesterday, but I have 750 hours a month, so I'm not concerned. Okay. So right now it's stopping here, stopping. Just keep them stopped. When they're stopped, you're not charged. Okay. So you're charged only when they're running. Okay. You can check what else can give me some. VPC is free. IAM is free, so you can have as many users as you want. EFS, I don't think I have an EFS file system here. It's encrypted, but I'm not using it. So creating it doesn't. Let me delete it, just in case. So EFS system is deleted now. That's important. You know, reduce your storage price by 0.08 gigabytes per month with EFS lifecycle management. Okay, and make sure that there's nothing there. What else do I have that could cost me to be charged? CloudFormation is free. CloudWatch, the basic is free. The one that is not free is the enhanced. CloudWatch. Config, I have some rules there by config. I have some rules that I created for that to be compliant. I'm gonna probably edit here.
Excuse me.
That's fine. That's fine.
First of all,
What?
No, I had I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself, but I think that isn't there a feature where you can alert yourself to the amount of usage in reference to it?
Yeah. In the billing dashboard.
Right. So you can set up. Is that what
in the billing dashboard? You can see. You can have alarms from CloudWatch that's telling you how much you're using, but in the billing dashboard, it tells you how much you have used out of the total. Okay. For example, we can have up to 20,000 requests for Amazon S3 get requests. I only have 254. All right. I can have up to 20,000 requests per month for AWS key cache management service. I have 298. Okay. So it gives me that. But guys, if you can do it now, let's do it. A budget here. Let's create a budget. Okay. So I created this budget yesterday. Current $17. What is this? There's something that is charging me. And I don't know why. Oh, okay. It means that whatever budget I create, that's what it means. Right now, my bill is 1713, and whatever budget I create, if it is above or below the amount that I owe right now, then it's going to tell me, it's going to reflect in every single budget. Okay. I created this budget yesterday. I think it was yesterday when I created this. So I want to create a budget here. Right. Let me and do the same, guys, in your account. Please log into your account. We're going to make sure that you're notified through email, right? If you are just get to the threshold, of your budget. Okay. So we're gonna keep this checked.
Professor,
Go ahead.
is it possible to make the account through your NDC email?
Yes, you can do it through NDC email. Yes.
We'll only have the $100 credit, is that correct?
Let me see if I can find that. Just give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find that link, guys. One moment. Just give me 1 second. Let me see if I find that link, because this link is given for another class, not for this one. But maybe you can still use it. One moment. All right. So you can come to this website. And then join AWS Educate. And here you're gonna say you're a student. And you can put your information here. Just put the school name here, right? And then just follow the prompt, okay? I'm gonna post the link on Slack, right? And try to follow that. They have to approve it, okay? It may take a few days for that to approve it. It may be, just instantaneously. I mean, right there, they give you the confirmation. So I'm gonna put it here. And with that, you can create, they give you $100 credit.
So this won't affect the AWS account that we have already created, even if we already created that account with the Miami-Dade email?
Well, then you cannot do it. You already used that one, right?
Yeah, last week.
Okay. So then you can, I don't think you can do that if you already used that one. I'm not sure about that. I don't know what to tell you about that. So, I mean, maybe in another time you can use it, keep that link. And for now, try to stay within the limits. Don't use, anything more than the limits, right? And you're gonna be good. But I'm not sure how much it can affect your account right now, because you're using the same email, right? So it may tell you that email is already being used in another account. So you're now gonna be able to create a new account. Because when you follow the prompt here, when you follow this, you're gonna create an account as well. So once this is approved, you're gonna create an account and it's gonna give you $100. Then when you try to use that email for that account, it's gonna tell you this email is already used, right?
No, the email that it asked for on there is the school email.
Yes, the one that's in EDU, right?
Right.
It's .net, right?
.net, yes. Yeah, so it's gonna be your first.
I hope that works. I hope that works.
So I'm saying if we don't necessarily have to use what we currently have for AWS, we can create a new one and just use it.
Right. If you didn't use your Miami-Dade College for that one, then you can use it for this one. But be careful, guys, because it says here .edu. Okay, and Miami-Dade College is not .edu. Okay? It's .net. But just give it a try. Give it a try. Maybe it works, right? maybe it works. You never know, right?
There's no promotion code that we need to put in?
No, that I know of. Because this is through AWS Educate. So
Okay.
I believe that they will give you $100 if you're approved.
All right.
Okay.
What's our school email address? So our username at ndc.net.
Oh, well, I hope that it is, because in my case, I don't have that.
Yeah, that Damien, that should be it. That's what I have. If you go on
Username at ndc.net.
Yeah, so if you go into mdc.edu and go and
I think it's my MDC, not NDC.
Yeah, it's my NDC at mydc.net.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, at mydc.net. Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, so we continue. So services that are now charged, Amazon VPC, you're not going to pay a cent for networking. Okay, for Amazon VPC, you're not going to pay a cent for Elastic Beanstalk, but Elastic Beanstalk is a platform as a service. So you're going to upload your code. By behind the scenes, Elastic Beanstalk is going to create EC2 instances. It's going to create Elastic Load Balancers. It's going to create auto scaling. So Elastic Load Balancers are not free. EC2 instances are not free after 750 hours. They're not free. So Elastic Beanstalk is free, but the service resources that it creates may not be free. Okay, very important. Just remember that Elastic Beanstalk is, as a service, is free, but the resources that they create may not be free. Okay, so that's very important. Auto scaling is free. You know, creating auto scaling is free. You don't have to pay for anything. But remember, the auto scaling, you know, creates new instances, new EC2 instances. Auto scaling can scale out or scale in, create more instances or remove instances. So you're gonna be charged when you create more instances. And of course, when you remove the instances, you're gonna be charged less. Because remember, it's pay for what you use. Don't forget that. But auto scaling is free. CloudFormation is free too, but CloudFormation is a template. It has a template that creates resources. Okay, so you create an EC2 instance through CloudFormation. EC2 instances are not free. After the 12 months period, they're not free. So you're going to be charged for that, right? Depending on the operating system, by the hour, by the second, depending on the operating system. But you know, if you create an IAM role or an IAM user with CloudFormation, you're not going to be charged because IAM is free. So it depends on what services you're creating with CloudFormation. Okay, as you can see here, IAM is free. IAM is free. Okay. So again, VPC, Elastic Beanstalk, auto scaling, CloudFormation, and IAM, they're free services. Okay. But don't forget that the ones that create other resources, those are charged or not charged, depending on what you're creating. Okay, that's very important. Just remember this because they may ask you this in the exam. Okay. Remember that IAM, what it does is just controls the access to resources and services. Don't forget that. Okay. Now, there's no charge for inbound data transfer between services within the same region. That is free. And that's the exception to the outbound transfer. All right. When you transfer between services, right? Transfer out, in, between services within the same region is free. Okay. Especially from an S3 bucket to an EC2 instance or to a CloudFront distribution. CloudFront is a global content delivery network. It's a CDN. We're going to talk about CloudFront when we get there, but this is one of the exceptions when you don't pay. Okay, so you pay for what you use. We know that. You start and stop anytime. You saw that my RDS, my database, was stopped by me, and as long as it remains stopped, I'm not gonna be charged. Okay, so you're gonna stop it and start it. On Monday when I start my class, I start it again. Okay. There's no long-term contracts required. Remember that you can reserve or not reserve. And I don't think that 1 year is a long-term contract. 1 year, if your business is going well, I think is pretty good because you're saving money. Okay. A 3-year contract, that's a little bit longer. 3 years, it's a lease of a car, for example, 3 years, right? And it's not that short. It's 3 years, right? But it's not required. It's just a choice, right? Some services are free, right? Like we saw before, these are free. Some services are free, but the other AWS services that they provision might not be free. Okay, and I explained that before here. Okay. Total cost of ownership. This is a very important topic in AWS. The total cost of ownership. All right. Now, in traditional infrastructures, you have equipment, you have resources and administrations, you have costs, you have contracts, you have a lot of things. That's what consists of that's what makes the traditional infrastructure, right? But in AWS, right, you don't have upfront expenses, right, required, right? You have to buy equipment in traditional infrastructure. You have to buy equipment. There's no way around it. There's no workaround. You have to buy equipment. You may buy cheaper equipment or more expensive equipment, but you have to buy equipment. That's for sure, right? In AWS, like I said before, you don't have to pay anything to start. That's the good thing. That's a good thing, right? And it's not those fairy tales that people tell you online. Come on, come to me, start a business with $0. And then when you get there, there's a lot of upsells that start selling you things, and it was all a lie. But with AWS, there's no lie here. You don't have to pay anything, and you guys can attest to that because you already have a free tier account, and you are creating resources, and you don't need to pay anything. And by the way, we never finished the budget. I got the track cited, and we didn't finish the budget. Let's finish the budget, guys, because I don't want you to be charged, right? So in your account, just type billing, right? And services here, billing. And then we're going to just select budgets, okay? Budgets here. Let me check my credits because I have credits here. I still have $167 here. That's fine. But they will expire on the 30th of November. Okay, I still have money there. So I can check the budget here. In the budget text section, I cannot create a budget. Okay, and the budget is gonna be based on cost, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and set your budget, right? I'm gonna call it my Saturday, just a name you want. I just put my Saturday class budget. Okay. I think I can use probably here, right? That's going to be monthly recurring charges and then fixed. And I'm going to put here $5. So I want it to be $5. That's my threshold. That's my budget. Okay. No more than that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and configure the threshold, right? Now the threshold, this is the actual cost, not the forecasted cost, the actual cost. I can put here when I am 80%, which is $4, send me an email, right? Because I don't want to spend $5, I want to spend $4, okay? Or you can say 100,000, 100%. When it gets to $5, just let me know. Guys, AWS will not stop services from running when you get to $5. You're the one that have to come here and do something about it. You have to react to this. Okay, so I'm gonna choose 80% for now. I'm gonna put my email here, right? So I'm just choosing here the threshold, 80% of that amount, $8. If you put 75%, it's $3.75. You know, whatever you want to put there. Okay, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Then you confirm the budget and see this the review. Just review the budget. Okay, and create. Now you have a cost here, a budgeted, it's $5. It's based on cost. When you start using that and you get to $5, it's going to send you an email, right? You won't get any email now. I think I get an email because I already have a budget, right? I already have a budget. So I get an email here that is telling me that my budget is $17. That's why it's telling me, because my budget is $17 already. I mean, my cost is $17. That's why it goes above the budget. I get an email. But this is the email that you're gonna get, guys, when you go over or you get to $5. Okay. Then you click here. It takes you to the billing dashboard, and then you can do something here. You see, the budget I just created right here, it's already over my budget. The cost is already over my budget. That's why I get this, and it's 342%. Right? It's like, you know, it's more than 3 times this. Okay? And that makes sense. Now, if I continue like this, if I continue going the way at this pace, the forecasted is 1,161%. Okay, for the rest of the month. All right. Which is like 10 times this, more or less. Probably. Yeah. And that's gonna be for $50 more or less. 58, like it says here. Okay, that's the forecasted amount. And I'm not sure, I have to check why I'm getting that. I have to check what services are getting into that. I'm still not concerned because I have credit, but there's gonna be a point when I have to check, right? Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, so now that we have a budget, we're good to go. We're fine. We don't have to worry about that. When we get to $5, it's gonna tell us you have consumed 100% of your budget, and then we have to react to that. All right. So in the cloud, there's no upfront expenses for what you use. Scale up or down, you can increment. And guys, let me do something here real quick. And let me just probably one moment. Okay. I'm gonna create this for you. So we have horizontal scaling, okay, and we have vertical scaling. Okay? That's concepts of the cloud, right? Now, when it talks about horizontal scaling, is scale out or scale in. Okay, that's what it means. And when it says vertical scaling, is scale up or scale down. Okay, so now scale out is increase the number of servers, right? And scaling is decrease the number of servers. Okay? Scale up is increase the capacity or power of the server or servers, right? And the opposite is scale down. This is decrease. And I will copy and paste this, right? Right. Decrease the capacity and power of the servers, okay? So you guys understand this scale out, scale in, scale up, and scale down. Okay, so what is the capacity? Maybe you need more RAM or more CPU, right? More RAM, more CPU, or a higher, let's say higher, or let's say a higher performing instance type. Okay. Right? So that's what it means. More RAM, more CPU, or higher performing instance type. And of course, this one is the opposite, right? Less RAM, less CPU, and a lower performance. Okay. Okay. So you guys understand?
Yes.
Yes. And this is what this is talking about. Okay. So we are scaling up or down, you know, just incrementing the capacity of the servers. Okay. This is just, this is smaller and this is bigger. So that's what we're doing here. Improve time to market and agility. You know, it's going to be super fast. It won't take months. It won't take weeks to provision a server. It would take minutes with AWS. Okay. And so service infrastructure. This is self-explanatory. It's easy to understand. So that's the difference between the cloud. One of the difference between the cloud and traditional infrastructures, right? Now, what is the total cost of ownership? Okay, it's the financial estimate to help identify direct and indirect costs of a system. Guys, this is the tool that is used, right? This is a tool that is used when you want to move to the cloud. All right, before you move to the cloud, you're gonna use the TCO to estimate how much I'm going to pay once I'm there. Okay, so you can have like a preview, like a premonition, if you want to call it that way, before you move to the cloud. You know, like revelation. You know, a revelation of how much you're gonna pay. Okay. Now, guys, let us understand the TCO a little bit better. When you purchase a car, do you think that the cost of the car is what you pay the bank or the dealership? Is that the purchase?
No.
Why?
Because you still have to pay for. Okay, so you have to account for depreciation. You have to pay for. You have to consider maintenance over the life of the car, at least as long as it's in your possession. You're accounting for car insurance. You're accounting for fuel charges, all those type of things.
Tolls that you have to pay. You know, extra charges they have to pay, right? So the total cost of ownership of your car is going to include all those direct charges and indirect ones. Okay. So to acquire a car and to keep that car, you have to pay for insurance. You have to pay for repairs, maintenance, all that. That's the total cost of ownership of that car. Okay. So when you move to the cloud, you have to see how much you're going to pay for the services and indirect expenses too, right? That will incur as I possess that product, right? So why do you use the TCO? Well, to compare the cost of running an entire infrastructure environment or specific workload on premises versus an AWS, right? Guys, you will still have to pay for bills when you are in the cloud. Yeah, of course, you have to maintain your computers. I mean, you're not gonna have servers on premises if you move all into the cloud, right? All in. You don't have to pay for servers on premises, but you have to have computers because computers is the way, right, that you can access the cloud. You can access the cloud through a phone or through an iPad, but it's kind of uncomfortable. It's not the best way to work with the console using a phone. So it's better to use a computer. The computer has to be maintained. They have to be upgraded. They have to be updated. All things you still have, charges to pay, money to pay, right? So you also use it when you want to budget and build the business case for moving to the cloud. Okay, this is the tool that is used to present to the business owner, hey, my friend, this is what you're gonna pay when you move to the cloud. Now compare what you're gonna pay with what you're paying now. Let's see. I think this is a lost battle. Okay, this is a lost battle. The cloud will win. You see how much money you're saving. And guys, you're gonna see now in a few minutes how much money you can save when you move to the cloud. We're not talking about $10. We're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars. Okay, so now these are some of the considerations that the TCO considers. I mean, the TCO takes into account the server costs, guys, the storage costs, the network costs, and the labor costs. You have to pay server administrators. Okay, you have to pay server administrators. But if you don't have servers, because all your information is in the cloud, you don't need a server administrator, right? You may need administrators. You may need database administrators, right? Because you're going to use databases in AWS, so you will need a CSOPs administrator or someone that has to administer that database, but not a server, because you don't have any physical server. That's money that you're saving. And a server administrator, you have to pay him well. It's not, you don't pay him $10 an hour. That's not a salary for a server administrator. Okay. So their hardware, server racks, chassis, power distribution units, top of rack, switches, and maintenance. Software, to have the operating system, you have the virtualization licenses, maintenance, all this storage costs, hardware, storage disk, and that is only talking about hardware and software. What about the facility cost? You have to pay for space, power, cooling. Everything has to be paid for. Okay, and this is the TCO will compare all this with how much you're gonna pay in the cloud, which is makes this TCO a very cool tool. Okay, let's see something here. All right, so you can save up to 90% a year by moving your infrastructure to AWS. Your 3-year total cost savings would be $159,913. That's how much you can save in 3 years. Is that a lot of money? Is that a lot of money in savings? Of course it is.
Is that only storage, not extracting the information? It's only storing it, right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Like before you said like certain you get charged for abstracting information, but not for storing it. So the 3 years, is that for like constantly getting it back the information like you storing, or just?
No, for everything. Compute, storage, network, IT, everything. Remember that you charge for compute and storage and outbound transfer, right? This is compare what you're expending now on premises and what you're gonna spend in AWS. Remember that in AWS you don't pay for IT labor when it comes to servers, right? So you're saving money there. Network is at least VPCs are free. You're not paying for that. Servers are super cheap. You're paying for them, but they're super cheap compared to what you pay on premises. And storage is super cheap. Everything is cheaper. Whatever you have here, everything is cheaper. You can compare here how much you spend on premises. You see here, it's a lot of money, right? We're over $300,000 a year, right? This is per year? No, this is in a 3-year, $300,000. And this is what you're paying in 3 years. Look at this. Look at what a difference here. What a difference. So you're paying a lot on servers. You're paying a lot on storage. You're not paying that much in network because network is not that expensive. But look at the total of everything that you're spending. This purple thing here. Now look at this storage here. That's not green. You see a green there? It means that you're not paying anything for network, right? IT is not even there either, so you're not paying for IT. I mean, we're talking about servers, guys, servers, okay? And people that have to deal with the charges that you have here. And the total is very small. You're spending $7,509 in a 3-year period. And on premises, you pay $167,422. And the savings is going to be this guy here. Okay? And you're going with the partial upfront reservation. Okay? You're not even going with the full upfront or all upfront. That's going to save you more. But guys, look at this number, 96. Can you imagine if you say 96% out of 100? What money is AWS making here? 4%? Okay. And like I said, this is based on a Puri. Okay, on a Puri. If it is Ori, you're gonna save even more. Right? As you can see, there's a big difference between the two of them. Okay. Now, this is another guide that can be used for, understanding the monthly charges in AWS. Okay, the simple monthly calculator. Okay, simple monthly calculator was supposed to disappear. I think it was June 30th last year. This year, I'm sorry, not last year. This year. But they decided to extend until further notice, probably because of the pandemic. Okay, so let me see if I can, because they created a new one. They created the pricing calculator. Okay, the pricing calculator is the one that's replacing the simple monthly calculator. Okay. So this is the most simple monthly calculator. Single monthly calculator, the deprecation update. We appreciate your continuous feedback regarding the simple monthly calculator. The deprecation date is delayed to ensure the features requested from our customers are available in the AWS pricing calculator. We will continue to add services to the AWS pricing calculator to guarantee parity with the simple monthly calculator. If you have any feedback, contact us by using feedback. This is the simple monthly calculator, right? You can have the services here, right? And you can see how much you're spending. Now, this is the new guy. If you click on this, this is the new guy that AWS is using. Once the simple monthly calculator is gone and gone forever, okay? So you can create an estimate here. You have Amazon API Gateway, Amazon Athena. You can configure all these guys, Amazon CloudWatch, EBS, all these guys, and then you can configure those guys and have an estimate of how much you're going to spend, and this is, guys, this is once you are in the cloud. This is not before you are in the cloud. So this is the guy that's going to give you an estimate of your monthly charges, okay? The TCO is used The TCO is used for before you move to the cloud. The simple monthly calculator is once you are in the cloud. So it's going to estimate your monthly cost, identify opportunities to reduce monthly cost, use templates to compare services and deploy models, right? So there's going to be a guide. It gives you here how much you're going to spend. Sorry. See here, right? And new customers get it for free for 12 months. Okay? After that, it's not free anymore. Here. So two tools, the TCO and the simple monthly calculator. Okay, don't forget that. What do we use the TCO for? To estimate costs, use detailed reports, and modify assumptions. What do we use the simple monthly calculator? To estimate monthly costs. They do the same thing, cost savings, identify opportunities to reduce monthly cost, use templates to compare services and deployment models, and the TCO.
Question.
Go ahead.
Which calculator did you say was not free?
This guy is not free after 12 months. You see here, new customers get free usage tier for 12 months. The simple monthly calculator. The TCO, you don't have to pay for it. It's just a tool that people will use before you move to the cloud. I mean, you're bringing this business proposal to me, right? I'm a business owner. Why do I have to pay for that? You're the one that wants to sell me something, right? You want to sell me AWS. So show me, and I don't have to pay anything for that. Show me why I should move to the cloud. Why? Then you come with a tool, show it to me, and give me a side-by-side comparison, and that's it. So I don't have to pay for the TCO. But once you are in the cloud, the simple monthly calculator is going to be free for you now, guys, for you for 12 months. But after 12 months, you have to pay for it. You got it? That does answer your question?
Yes, it does.
All right. Guys, I think it's time for us to take a break. How about that? So it's 10:34. Let's take a 10 minutes break. Do you have any questions before we go on break?
Not at this time.
Okay, so let's take a short break of 10 minutes. And let's be back here at 10:44.
Okay.
Are we back?
Yes, but I don't know.
Professor?
Let's continue.
All right.
Okay, so we talked about this guy, the simple monthly calculator, the TCO as well. Now, there's some hard benefits and soft benefits. Okay, when it says hard benefits, it's just something that you cannot change, right? Those are benefits, and soft is something that can be altered or changed, right? So reduce spending on compute, storage, and networking security. So those are hard benefits. Things that cannot be changed. You're gonna be have a reduced spending on compute, storage, and network security. Reduction in hardware and software purchases capex. This is capital expense, right? Reduction in operational costs, backup and disaster recovery, and reduction in operations personnel. So that's going to be something that is going to happen when you move to the cloud, right? For sure. For sure. All of these things are going to happen. Now, sub benefits: reuse of service and applications that enable you to define and redefine solutions by using the same cloud service. This is something that can change, right? It's not something like this. This can vary, okay? Because it's soft. Increase the developer productivity. That's going to happen, but not necessarily. It depends on, guys, what you do as a developer, as a company. Improved customer satisfaction. That's going to happen too as well, right? That's going to happen too as well. Agile business processes that can quickly respond to new and emerging opportunities. Increase in global reach. So all of these guys, all of these benefits come with migration to the cloud. All of these guys, right? Some are for sure, and some are very, they can vary depending on factors, several factors that you may have in your business, right? Things to consider. Okay. Now, let's do a case study on, just take a look at the case study of total cost of ownership with this Delaware North company. Right? So Delaware is a company that was founded in 1915. It's been there for over a century. It's a big old company. Okay, very solid business. What it does is it's a concession vendor of popcorn and peanuts. So that's what they do. Okay. Sorry. Now, it's a major food and hospitality company. So although the company deliberately keeps a low profile, it is a leader in the food service and hospitality industry. It serves more than 500 million customers annually at more than 200 locations around the world, right, including venues, Kennedy Space Center in Florida, London Heathrow Airport, Kings Canyon Resort in Australia, and the Green Bay Packers Lambeau Field in Wisconsin. So this global presence has turned Delaware North into a $3 billion enterprise. Okay, so that's some background on this company. Okay. Now, the company's on-premise data center was becoming too expensive and inefficient to support its global business operations. That was the challenge. Okay. Now, the Chief Information Officer, Kevin Kinlivan, said, as the company continued to grow, the demand to rapidly deploy new solutions to meet customer requirements increased as well. This fact, combined with the need to constantly upgrade aging equipment, required an even greater commitment of resources on our part. We had to find a better strategy. And then Delaware North turned to AWS for a solution. Now, the evaluation process centered on 3 criteria. Okay. First, a cloud solution needed a broad set of technologies that could handle all of Delaware North enterprise workloads while delivering support for critical functions. From an operational perspective, Delaware North wanted the feature and flexibility to modify core IT processes to improve efficiencies and lower costs. This included eliminated redundant time-consuming tasks like patching software or pushing tests and development tasks through outdated systems that, in the past, added months to the deployment of new services. Now, finally, financial requirements needed to demonstrate a return on investment with a solid cost-benefit justification for moving away from their existing data centers to AWS. Now, the solution was to move to the cloud. Okay. Now, a cost comparison completed by Delaware North demonstrated that it could save $3.5 million based on a 5-year run rate by moving its on-premises data center to AWS and using a 3-year Amazon EC2 reserved instances and reserved instances renewals. Okay, so they not only reserved 3 years, they did a renewal of 3 more years. Okay, so Quinlivan, the Chief Information Officer, noted that the deep technology stack available in AWS was more than sufficient to meet the company's technical and operational requirements. The pricing structure of AWS offerings, which includes paying only for what you use, provided total cost of ownership benefits that were presented to senior leaders. He said, we compared the cost of keeping our on-premises data centers versus moving to the cloud, measuring basic infrastructure items such as hardware cost and maintenance. He also says, we estimate that moving to AWS will save us at least 3.5 million over 5 years by reducing our server hardware by more than 90%. But the cost savings will likely be greater due to additional benefits, like the increased compute capacity we can get using AWS. That lets us continually add more and larger workloads that we could use, that we could be using a traditional data center infrastructure and achieve savings by only paying for what we use. So Delaware North, guys, I'm just reading the comments and the quotes from the owner, the chief information officer. Delaware North moved almost all of its applications to AWS, including enterprise software such as its Fiorano middleware, Crystal reports, and business intelligence solutions. The most dramatic physical change was the elimination of 205 servers. Everything that ran on that hardware was migrated to AWS. So the IT department decided to keep about 20% of 20 servers on premises at the new headquarters building to run communication and file and print tasks. We erred on the side of caution to ensure that there's no latency with these tasks. But once we reach a certain comfort level, we may move this to the cloud as well, said Scott Mercer, head of the IT department, service-oriented architecture team. Okay. So these guys understand, I mean, they understood the difference in price, you know, when moving to the cloud, and then just move 90% of the servers, okay, which is 205, and then left 20 servers on premises. And when they feel comfortable, they were planning to move the other 20 servers to the cloud and just go all in the cloud, just like Netflix did. Okay. Now the comparison here, right? This chart displays the cost comparison done by Delaware North, showing the cost of their on-premises environment and the proposed AWS environment. The estimates show a 3.5 million savings based on a 5-year run rate by moving from an on-premises data center to AWS. This is the cash flow in a 5-year summary. Okay. So they decided to go like with 3-year reserve instances plus the 3-year reserve instances renewal. In fact, 6 years with AWS. Okay. So you can see Delaware's North on-premises environment, how big this was here in 2015 with AWS. This is how it worked. Okay. This is a targeted with the AWS environment, right? This is 2016. This is 2016 with AWS a little bit more, AWS less. You know, it depends on the, you know, how busy your business is going to be. Right? See how much money they were spending, like $2 million a year. Okay. And with AWS, it's less than 500,000. That's like, you know, 5 times less, right? So that's a big difference, okay? And when they saw this TCO calculator comparison in 5 years, they decided to move to the cloud. So this is the guy, the TCO is the guy that convinces business owners to move to the cloud, okay? The total cost of ownership, Delaware result, you know, about 6 months into its cloud migration, right? Delaware North realized benefits in addition to its data center consolidation, including cost-effective security compliance, enhanced disaster recovery, and faster deployment times for new services. Robust security in a retail environment is critical for us because of our many, this is a quote by Brian Mercer, the senior software architect for the project. He said, robust security in a retail environment is critical for us because of our many retail operations. And AWS is enormously helpful for that. He also said, by leveraging the security best practices of AWS, we've been able to eliminate a lot of compliance tasks that in the past took up available of valuable time and money. He also added that the company also increased its disaster recovery capabilities at a lower cost than what was available in its previous data center deployment. He's also said it significantly improved our business continuity capabilities, including seamless failovers and more. So the solution is also helping Delaware North operate with greater speed and agility. For example, it can bring in new businesses either through contracts or acquisitions and get them online more quickly than in the past by eliminating the need for traditional IT procurement and provisioning. It used to take between 2 and 3 weeks to provision new business units. Now it takes 1 day. So the Delaware North IT team is also using AWS to overhaul its operations by eliminating outdated and cumbersome processes, cleaning up documentation, and using the benefits of running test and development tasks in combination with rapid deployment of services through the cloud. Brian Mercer also said, our DevOps team can now spin up the resources to push out a service in just minutes compared to weeks it used to take. With AWS, we can respond much faster to business needs, and we can start repurposing time and resources to deliver more value and services to our internal teams and to our customers. So guys, just by reading all this, you see how great Delaware North is doing after they moved to AWS. Okay, and this is said by themselves. This is something that is not someone from outside saying. This is just the employees, the software architect, the IT department, the owner, the chief information officers are saying about their experience with AWS. They have 24/7 enhanced operational efficiency. It's growing. And guys, it's great how much AWS can help you if you move to them. It's a win-win situation when they win and you win. Okay. And then you can focus on customers more than anything else. Right. Disaster recovery is super important because things happen, bad things happen. So you have to have a disaster recovery plan in place so that you can recover as soon as possible. Okay? Just in case something happens. Okay. All right, so let's do this activity at the end of the class, okay? Not for now. I need to finish this PowerPoint. This is just some analysis on the simple monthly calculator. That's something that you guys can do later. Okay. Now let's talk about billing now. Billing. Organizations, super important topic in AWS exam. Okay. AWS Organizations. Okay. Now this is a free account management service. You don't have to pay for this. If you see the exam, you know that AWS Organization is paid for. I mean, it's not true. Okay. It would enable you to have something very important is consolidate multiple AWS accounts into an organization that you can centrally manage. Okay, that's very important. And when you have organizations, you can have 20 member accounts under that organization, under the root account, because the root account is the main account in this organization, and the root account is your account, okay, the one that you created with AWS. So under that account, you can have other member accounts, and that is achieved through AWS Organizations. You can have consolidated billing. You can have only one bill for the 20 accounts, and that's even better than having 20 bills and 20 bills to pay. Okay, so you can have a consolidated billing. That's one of the benefits of AWS Organizations. Okay, they can help you with account management capabilities to help you better meet the budgetary, security, and compliance needs of your business. Right? What are the main benefits of AWS Organizations? Well, you can centrally manage access policies across multiple AWS accounts. You can control access to AWS services from the AWS Organizations. You can automate AWS account creation and management. And you can have, like I said before, you can have, consolidated billing. Okay. Let's take a look at how it looks. Okay. This is an organization, how an organization looks in a graphic, right? Now you have the root account here, right? You have the root account here. And then you have policies. This is also known as service control policies, SCPs, service control policies. Don't forget that, okay? So we have organizational units right here. That's OU, okay? OU. Sorry. So these guys, if you want to see this, just take a look at it or see it as a folder or as a file system where there's hierarchy. Okay, we have the root account here. Inside the root account, you can have several OUs, right? You can have an OU inside another OU. Okay, and then inside the OUs, you have the member accounts. These are member accounts. An account like yours, guys, just an account like yours. So you can have the root account, invite other accounts to your organization. And maybe you have a business where you have an account for developers, an account for testers, an account for finance, an account for, I don't know, janitors. I don't know, an account for every single department, right? And then you can have all these accounts added to your root account, which is the master account. Okay.
So what's OU again?
Organizational unit.
Okay.
It's like a folder. Okay. You have a folder inside a folder, and then inside the folder you have a file, and that file will be the member account. So you can see it as a folder system. Okay. Now you have, like I said before, you have service control policies, right? Now, service control policies are policies that are applied. A policy is a JSON document that is applied to organizational unit. You can control access to your accounts through service control policies. Okay. Now, when a service control policy is applied to an organizational unit, every single account member or every single organizational unit inside that one will be affected by that policy. So it will trickle down to every single account. So all of these guys will inherit the policy that this one has. Now you can apply service control policies to specific accounts like this one. So the only account that's going to be affected by this policy is this one. Okay. Of course, it's the same policy for this organizational unit. So this account is going to be affected by the same policy as this one. But in this organizational unit, the only account that's going to be affected by this policy is this one. Now, all the other accounts will be affected by this one, right? And this organizational unit is going to be affected by this one, but these guys are going to be affected for both this one and this one. I think it is not difficult to understand this. It's just that the one that is higher up in the ranking is going to be the one that's going to be affecting all of the ones inside. So every permission, every policy that is applied to a higher in the hierarchy, let's say higher organizational unit, is going to affect all the ones inside there.
Question.
Go ahead.
So I guess what you're talking about is precedence.
With what?
I guess what you're trying to talk about is precedence. Which policy takes precedence over which policy?
Okay. Okay. This one will affect all of these guys, right?
Okay.
Now,
So it inherits it?
Yeah. So this one, just follow my cursor. You see my cursor?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So this guy will be affected by this policy, right? No. Now, this guy will be affected by the policy that is here. And this guy will be affected by this policy as well. But this guy, on top of this policy, is going to have a policy as well. Okay? So it's going to be affected by this policy and this one, which I'm sure are not the same, because it doesn't make sense if I apply here and apply directly here. Doesn't make sense, right? Now, this guy is going to be affected by this policy, the policy from this one, right? Because it's under this one. This policy is going to affect this one. So all of these guys, I'm going to be affected by this policy and this policy. You see it? If I just follow my cursor,
yes,
it comes down here, down here, down here, and down here.
Yes, that's not a problem. That's not the issue I'm having. My question is when there's a clash.
Okay. When the policy
which policy?
I know what you mean. When the policy is the same, you talk about precedence, right? Let's say the one denies, one allows, something like that.
Correct.
Denies always takes precedence on over allow. Okay.
Regardless of which policy is higher in the hierarchy.
Regardless of anything, deny will go first, then allow. Okay. Because when you deny something, that's important. And it has to be respected. Okay. But you have to see which one comes first. Right? If this one is allowed, this one's not here yet. Right? So things will be allowed here. But when you get here, it gets automatically denied because this is denied. It depends where it's pointing to, right? You have an allow here, it means that this one has an allow. But all these guys will have denied because this one is denied. You see? It depends what they're pointing to, right?
Okay, so let us discuss the reverse.
Deny here, everything is denied. Everything is denied from the get-go.
Even though the policy on the right, yes.
All right. Allow will never override deny. Denies override allows. Because denies has a precedence over allow. Always. Okay? But you guys understand how this works?
Yes, Professor, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is it possible for an organizational unit to override a parent policy?
Yes, but it depends on what it is. If it is a deny, you can't.
Okay.
It denies over allow, like I said before.
Okay. Thanks.
Now, you can see that in AWS. If I go here to organizations, I think I have one already created. And you can see it in a tree-like view, right? Like here, you see how it works. Several departments here, Okay. And by the way, this is free, guys. Okay. This is free. Okay. So you have the service control policies here. that you can apply to each, each account. You can create a new organizational unit. You're going to call it, let's say that I'm going to call it underwriters. Okay. And I'm going to create it. It's right here now, right? So I don't have anything inside because it's empty, right? But I can come here and create a new organizational unit here and call it underwriters. Underwriters level 1. Right. And then I can have these guys under underwriters. Okay. I cannot add members account because I don't have any other account. I have only one. But the way it works is this guy sends an invitation to the other one. The other one accepts it, and then is added to the organizational unit. That's how it works. Right? You have the policies here that you can apply. Right? Accounts. I only have one account here, my account. You can add another account, invite an account here. So you can send an invitation. So you are sending an invitation to myself. That doesn't make sense to me. How do you want to add an account? A verification email. Well, a verification email was sent to my account. Now I have to verify that to make sure that I can do it. And then once it's been confirmed, then you can start sending invitations to other accounts to join the organization. Guys, let's think that I have a business. It doesn't make sense to me now. I mean, it doesn't make sense now because I don't have a business. I don't have other accounts. But let's just imagine that I have an account. And it's a very good thing to have an account per department. That's a very good way. You have isolation. You can isolate data. You can do so many things when you do that. Just not to have interference from other accounts. Okay. You can concentrate on one thing only, right? And it's more centralized, is better. Now, when you have the master account, which is this one that you see right now here, this is my master account. So I can invite accounts and put them in an organizational unit. Let's say that I create an account in finance. I could come back here, right? I could come back here and say in finance, I want to add an account here. I'm gonna put it here in finance, HR. I have a department for HR, and I want to add HR to this organizational unit. Okay, and then I can apply policies to that particular guy. Okay, these are the policies inherited from the root account from here. If I take a look at the root account, which is Dunieski Otano, I can take a look at the service policies, and I see that full AWS access is attached to my account. Allows access to every operation. Now, this guy will be inherited by every single account here. So I have to have other policies for each department that limit the access. Because right now, by default, they are inheriting the full AWS access. Okay? And I don't want that. I have that because I am the root account, right? But if I take testing, for example, and take QA, QA has full access AWS as well. You see? That's under QA because it's inherited from the root account. Now I can apply other policies that will override the one from the root account. Remember that this is allowed. I can put something nice here and it will override this one. And that makes sense because you don't want a specific cleaning department to have access to my database, for example. Or the web designers, I don't want my web designers to have access to my billing dashboard. So there's so many things that you can do here to restrict access. Now, there's a big difference between an IAM policy and a service control policy. An IAM policy is applied at the user, group, or role levels. A service control policy is applied at the account level. There's a big difference, okay? There's a big difference. One is at the user level, the role level, group level, and the other one is at the level of the account level, okay? So you apply the policy to an account, and then you can restrict access to the resources in that account, okay? So that's basically—
Please repeat that. IAM policies are applied where?
Yeah, let me put it here, one moment. Let me put it here in the, here, so you can see it. So IAM policies are applied at the user, group, or role levels, okay? And service control policies, or SCPs, are applied at the account level. Okay, this is more granular, okay, more specific. This is more general to the account. Okay, so this one has more reach than this one, because this is like a from outside, you know, the account, just limiting the access. This is more specific for a specific user or a specific group or role. Okay, and this one, you know, works for the services too. You can apply an IAM policy to a service. I will add here service, right? Right? But this is for accounts. You don't apply a service control policy to a user, a group, or a service. No, you apply an IAM policy. Okay. Good. So, key features. You know, you can have policy-based account management. You can have group-based account management, right? You can have application programming interface APIs that automate account management. Okay. And you can have consolidated billing with that. So you create service control policies that centrally control AWS services across multiple accounts. That's the good thing, across multiple accounts. You can create groups of accounts, right? You don't create a group of users, because when you take a look at this, a group is a collection of IAM users, okay? This is when it comes to IAM. When it comes to organization, a group is a group of accounts, okay? So it works more at the account level, like higher up, okay? You can just make sure that the correct policies are applied across all accounts. You can simplify management by using application programming interfaces, APIs, and you can automate, you know, the creation of new accounts. Okay. And this will simplify the billing. Okay, the billing. You have a single payment method for all the accounts, you know, in your organization. You can see a combined view of all the charges that are incurred by all of your organizations. Okay. Security with AWS Organizations, right? So this does not replace associating AWS identity and access management. This does not replace that, okay? So you still have to have IAM in your accounts, right? Because remember, IAM is the one that controls the user's access, users, groups, roles, right? Within your account, okay? That's super important. Now, with these IAM policies, you can allow or deny access to AWS services for users, groups, and roles. As you can see, it's like I said before, an IAM policies for users, groups, and so on, roles, okay? Now, a service control policy, in contrast, you know, is used to allow or deny access to particular services for individual accounts or for groups of accounts in an organization or unit. So the specify actions for an attached SCP, right, affect all of the IAM users and groups and roles for that account, including the AWS account root user. Okay. So everything with is, you know, this is like an umbrella, okay? An umbrella that, you know, has all of these guys under, okay? So every account has users, has groups and roles, and every account has IAM, right? But this guy will be there to allow access to users to AWS services for individual groups, accounts in an organizational unit. Okay. And whatever service control policy that you apply to an organizational unit will also then, affect the users and groups and roles. So how do you set it up? You create the organization, you create organizational units like I just did. You create service control policies and you test the restrictions. Okay? You test that. You try to have an account access something that is not allowed to, and let's see if it works. Okay. So one of the ways is just to sign in as a user for each of the roles, right? Such as organizational 1 or 2, and see how the service control policy impact account access. As an alternative, you can use an IAM policy simulator to test and troubleshoot IAM and resource-based policies that are attached to an IAM user, groups, or roles in your account. There's something called a policy, let me come here, simulator. Okay. Okay. This one will help you, you know, understand if the policy works. Okay. So we can say here Dunieski, and let me just see if billing works. This is the policy for billing. Right. So I'm going to look for a specific service here and click on billing. Right. What actions can I take? Let's just select all actions. Right. And let me just run simulation. Let's see what happens. I'm allowed to do that. Okay.
How did you get there?
I click on this right here. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it here. That's the policy simulator. IAM policy simulator. It will simulate the policy and just do that. Let's see if I can. Let me see if I can just. I can say S3. I can just create a new policy, maybe back here. Let me see. Back. Let me see if I can check a group administrators. Okay. Billing. So everybody in this group, administrators that I have, you can check billing here, and they're allowed, okay? Because they have access to the billing, okay? But let me see if I can just do something here. Let me choose maybe Dunieski here. I can check S3 bucket. Select all actions and then run. and I have action for every single thing in my bucket. Okay. So I'm checking this as Dunieski, right? I can have a policy. Let me see, billing. I can have this guy. Action, maybe if I create a policy here. Okay, this version here. I can say S3. Right. I can say principal. And I can say, I can just close this guy. I can close the other one. And I can close the other one. Oh. So if I take a look, let me take a look at a policy in IAM. This is a way to know if a policy is well written. You can click once here and show here, for example, billing. Let me just add an inline policy, add permission, probably, to the group. Permissions. And let me see Amazon S3 full. Okay, and that's exactly what I wrote there. Similar. Right. Here, it's similar to this one. So I can just put here, this one. I can apply that. And now it worked. Probably I was missing some comma or something. Okay. Now, if I check all the actions based on this policy, right, I can run simulation and I get allow. Okay. Okay, so it allows me to do everything from this, from the S3 bucket. Okay. So I can get an object, put an object, list buckets. I can do so many things because this policy is allowing me to do that. Allow me. Now, if I say deny, right, and I just run this, okay, I have to apply it. Now, if I just do this, I get a deny right here. Right. This is just a simulator. I'm not changing the policy of my account. It's just a simulator. Okay. And you guys can use it to test your policy, okay, to see if it works in your account. Okay. Of course, this is connected to my account. So see here, Dunieski Taro, I am connected to my account. Okay. Good. Okay. So these are the limits organizations, right? You can have one root account only. You send an invitation to an account against this limit, right? Now, you can have a number of 1,000 organizational units. You can have, 1,000 policies. The maximum size of a policy is 5,120 bytes. So in other words, around 5 kilobytes, right? That's the biggest the policy can be. You can have 5 levels of OUs under a root. So in other words, you can have 5 levels here. You have here 2 levels. You can have 3 more. Okay, 3 more nested OUs. Okay. You can send up to 20 invitations per day. Up to 20 invitations per day, no more than that. And the number of member accounts you can create concurrently at the same time is 5. Okay, so you can create 5 accounts at the same time. Okay? And the number of entities to which you can attach a policy is unlimited. So you can attach policies to accounts unlimited times. Okay, so those are limits that you guys should remember. Okay. Now the name of the organization has to be 250 characters in length, and it has to be Unicode characters. Okay, Unicode characters. So in other words, it needs to be with alphabets of all alphabets. Okay. Limits, maximum and minimum values. Okay, very important. I'm gonna ask you this at the end of the class to see if you remember this. How can you access AWS account, AWS Organizations? Well, through the console. That's what we did in our account, right? Right here. Through the console, right? Let me see if I can find this guy here. When I make it a favorite here, right here. So I don't have to look for it anymore. I just click on it and that's it. All right. So you can access it through the console. You can access it through the CLI. So if you look here, create organizational units, AWS CLI. Okay, create an organizational unit. So you can create an organizational unit through the CLI. So unit, parent ID, the name of the organization, and that's it. That's all you need. So you have an example here, right here. AWS Organization, create organizational units, parent ID, this one, name this. So if we can find the parent ID here, which is this one, right? So we can create easily, we can create an organizational unit right here, right? AWS Organizations, right? And then, where is it? 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 Where did I see it?
Professor, when I try to do it through the UI, it tells me that that account is the root and it's not currently in any organization or unit.
Which one?
Can you go back to the page that you were just in?
Okay. My AWS account?
Your AWS account that says, yeah, that one there. So when I select this account, I mean, this is the root account. It's in, and I go to the right where it says organizational units.
Here?
To the right. To the, all the way to, yes, down to the right under Dunieski, Otano, ARN, email, so on and so forth. See organizational units. Okay, so how do I add it to an organizational unit?
Okay. So you come here, you look for this guy, and then okay, what are you trying to add? An account or create an organizational unit?
Create the OU so I can add the account. Excuse me.
Okay, this is the ID, right? So let me see here. Let's just try here. One moment. Let me create the organization up. Let me just copy this guy. Okay.
Well, I don't even have one, so.
Okay, let me just create organizational unit. Okay, and then create parent ID. Parent ID. Parent ID, the unique identifier of the parent root or the UI that you want to. Okay, let's see. So this, I'm gonna see here my account. Okay, my account. And the name of the organizational unit is gonna be the name. It's gonna be
that may not work.
the name is
That may not work. You're saying the parent ID is the same. Isn't the parent ID supposed to be an OU?
yeah, you're creating an OU inside the root account. Remember, I create all these OUs, they are under the root account. All these OUs that I create here, they're under this guy. Okay. These guys are under this account. This is my account, right?
Okay, but the parent ID there then should be the root account ID.
The root account or the organizational unit, the parent organizational unit. Because you can put an OU inside an OU. Okay? So let me say test OU.
Go ahead.
And calling the unit, you provide a value that does not match the required pattern. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Let me see here. Let me see here. One moment. Root, a string that begins with R followed by 8 to 32 lowercase or digits. A string parting a D string requires one of the following. Root. Custom key value pair associated with the resource. This is a little different than doing it from, because if I want to put it inside another OU, inside testing, I have this guy here. All right. Let me see if this guy works. There you go. With this guy works, but the root account, it has to have some sort of, you know, there you go, test OU. With root account is a different treatment. Okay, it's not the same as that. But as you can see, I created an organizational unit inside this organizational unit testing. Okay, so it's very simple. You know, it's not complicated. So I can paste this. If you guys want, you can paste it on Slack. Okay. Okay. So I can just edit it and then put here.
Professor,
Yes.
is there a way to, so let's say I didn't want to go through the AWS console and I wanted to do the CLI to create one account organization. I noticed that in the console, there's a wizard. Is there a way to find that information? You see the ID is, I see that you had to go into the AWS organization to find the ID for the root account. Is there a way to find the root account information without, aside from the AWS organization?
Yeah, here's support. You come to support center and it's right here.
Okay.
Is that what you mean? The account number?
Yes, that. Yep.
On the support, and then support center.
Okay. All right.
And then you can have more information here. How do I close that?
And also to get, let's I want to go back a little bit more. Let's say I would like to know how to get into the CLI from the beginning. Let's say, so when I pull up the terminal, I would type in AWS. You go and type in AWS and AWS procedure. How's that work?
Yeah. Okay, I was looking for something that can tell me the information of the organizational unit from the CLI without going to the CLI. This would tell me the organization already exists. I understand that. So organizations, and then organizations, and then describe organizations. Organizational units, sorry. It doesn't work that way. Gives me the information of the organization, the master organization unit. And I have the ID here, you see? I have the ID here, so I can go ahead and create one inside the master. Okay? So now I can do this.
Where did you get that screen from?
What's going on here? Just let me create that one there here. So I can just call it another test for you. And then I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna type that guy or copy. I'm gonna do this and occur call organization will provide a value that's not match the required pattern. This is not the one that I need. So I just put describe organization, okay? And that gives me this information here. master account ID, master account RN, and ARN. I have to get back to you guys for this. Yeah, this is a little more complicated. Okay. But you can have information about that particular, the master organization. It gives you, you know, the metadata of that particular. It gives you the account number. So another way that you can find the account numbers this way, John, instead of going to Support Center, you can do it even faster. You don't have to even log in the AWS account. You can just type organizations, describe organizations, and then it contains the account number.
What's weird is I try to go into it and I get an error message. So I'm just.
Yeah. Did you configure your CLI?
I did maybe. I have to.
So do you have an organization? Because probably you don't have any.
I don't have any at all.
So you have to create one.
Okay, so that's the question I was asking. So let's say if I wanted to create one from the CLI, not using the AWS console itself, how do I do that? How would I? Let's say I'm starting off the day. I open the terminal. I need to log into CLI, and then create it from there.
Right here. Let's say from the AWS console, choose the organize accounts tab, and then choose new organization unit. For the name of the U, enter production, and then to be honest, I don't remember how I created mine because that was like a year ago, and I just forgot about it. But you have your account here, right? And then you can click on organize accounts, and then you start creating your organized accounts. I don't remember if this populates what you do the first time. Are you here right now?
I don't even have that information. That's what I'm saying. So
you don't have it here. You have nothing here.
Nothing. What I have on my screen is basically starting from the beginning, as if there was never an org unit or account created. So I have not created an organization.
Okay. In your account, there should be something like a UI, right? Okay, can you share your screen, please? I want to see what you have because I don't remember what it's like.
One moment, let me actually sign in.
The first time you log in, it asks you to create the organization.
Right. So I see the steps in that. What I'm asking is basically, let's say I didn't want to go through the console and I wanted to go through the CLI to do that stuff in the CLI.
Oh, I see. I understand.
That's what I'm trying to figure out is would there be? All right, so I'm gonna share my screen. Oh, wait, it's disabled. You may have to enable it. Professor?
Yes.
Oh, it says that it's disabled. I can't share my screen.
Oh, one more. Go ahead, please.
All right. Okay. So you can see it. So this is what I have.
Okay,
so
create.
Well, that's the question. I know how to do it here. I say what I was wondering was if I wanted to create it using just the CLI, not going through here? Is that possible, or do I have to do it through here first?
One moment.
Oh. Actually, I think you gave me the instructions here, probably.
Okay, simple. Go to CLI, please.
Okay. I gotta go through other computer. Okay, I don't know. You won't be able to see my CLI because it's on another computer. Does that matter? It's on it's on my Mac computer.
And there's no way to do it. What is showing here? You don't have CLI here in this computer?
On the Windows, no, I don't have it configured on this Windows. I only have it configured on.
Then you can type AWS Organizations, and then create dash organization. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Organizations, and then create. So you said dash create organization?
No, create dash organization.
Okay. All right.
That should give you a return. That should return organization, available policy types, things like that. Did it work?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, that's the way you create the organization for the first time.
Thank you.
It's right here on AWS documentation.
Yep.
So you can access that through 3LI, software development kits, HTTPS query application programming interfaces as well. Billing and cost management. So billing and cost management is the service that you use to pay your bills, monitor your usage, and budget your costs. Billing and cost management enables you to forecast and obtain a better idea of what your costs and usage might be in the future so that you can plan ahead. You can set a custom time period and determine whether you would like to view your data at a monthly or daily level of granularity. Now, let's see, this is a little, small view of your billing and cost. It's very simple, guys. You can see the same thing when you go to your AWS account, right? And type billing like we did before, right? And then when you do billing, this is exactly what you see there. Of course, this one has a bill of $7,000, $7,453.41. And this is the services that are having incurred charges. And then this is last month. This is the month to date, and this is the forecast. Okay. This may change. It's just a forecasted amount. Okay. As a summary of your bill. So what you have to do is just click on bills to have a better view of that. You can click on bills, and then you can have a better idea of bill by account. I only have one account, but what if we have more? All right. All right. Now, this is another way. If you want to have consolidated billing, you can use this command. It says, or create as an organization, feature set consolidated billing, just in case you have more, right? More accounts. And it's going to show here in your JSON output, right? It's going to show that. Now, budgets, we saw budgets already. We created a budget. We have AWS cost and usage report and AWS cost explorer. Cost Explorer is a tough guy. We're gonna talk more about him or it later. We have the bill here, right? And it's going to tell you, the bill's going to tell you exactly, a detail report of where the charges are coming from. All right. And if you have several accounts, in case you just see that by account here, you're going to have the account number and what are the charges that account has. So in this case, you see all the services here. I don't have anything, right? But in the case of this, you have an invoice for one account, right? And you may have an invoice for another account depending on how many accounts you have. But this is the invoice number, and you have $15 here. This is a huge invoice, right? And you can see the charges here. You have another invoice here for $24. That's the bills section. And of course, this is just the way it is presented. But in the actual console, in the actual dashboard, is just see it here on the billing. All right. You can have consolidated billing here, right? You can link the account, go to your organization, link the accounts. Okay. So you can have only one bill, right? Which is good. Now the Cost Explorer, this is a guy that you can visualize and understand and manage the AWS cost and usage over time. Right? The Cost Explorer includes a default report that it will give you, and that report visualizes your cost and usage for the top cost incurring AWS services. So the monthly running cost report gives you an overview of all your costs for the past 3 months, okay? And it also provides forecasted numbers of the upcoming month with a corresponding confidence interval. It's a free tool. You don't have to pay for it, right? You can see all the charges, in your account. You can go back up to 13 months, right? And you can forecast, you see the forecast for 3 months ahead. Okay. You can discover patterns in how much you spend on AWS resources over time and identify cost problem areas. You can identify the services that you use the most, and you can see some metrics like which availability zone have the most traffic and which linked AWS account is used the most. So it can give you all that information. Remember, you can go back up to 13 months and you can go forward, like ahead, up to 3 months. Okay, forecasted expenses. All right. So you can see the service here in this graphic. This is in the purple section. You see how much you're spending on EC2 instances. Green, how much you're spending on RDS. Yellow, how much you're spending on Elasticsearch service and other services here. Right. So that's what the Cost Explorer tells you, and it's free. You don't have to pay for it. By the way, the billing dashboard is free as well. You don't pay for that. Now the budgets, we created a budget, guys. A budget is what tells you, what helps you control your expenses, right? You can also use this to create notifications when you go over your budget for the month, right? When your estimated costs exceed your budget. So budget can be tracked at the monthly, like we saw in our budget. You can do monthly, or you can do a yearly level if you want to. You can customize the start and the end times, right? And you could get an email, or you can get a notification, like using SNS, service notification services. Simple notification services, and you can get an email from that telling you that, you are getting close to the budget, or you are already in the threshold of the budget. So That's what budgets can do for you. Okay. Now reports, right? It's a single location, right? It's a single location for accessing comprehensive information, right? About your cost and usage. This tool you see here in your screen, it will list the usage for each service category. Right? And that's gonna, this is what is used by your account and your users in hourly or daily line items, and any tax that you activated for tax allocation purposes. You can choose to have an AWS to publish billing reports to an S3 bucket if you want to. And these reports can be updated once a day if you want to as well. So this is very comprehensive and detailed at the same time. All the operations here, you know, availability zones, usage amount, carrier code, US dollar, and the product code here as well, and the usage type, and the type description here, the line item description. So these are editor reports that you can get in the billing dashboard. So I think that that's something that we can see here.
Welcome. Today we will look at the AWS billing dashboard. You can reach the billing dashboard from the AWS homepage by using the My Account drop-down menu. In this case, we've created a temporary account for me called Matt Billing. As I scroll down, it's My Billing Dashboard. Click on the link, and it opens up the Billing and Cost Management dashboard, which shows a summary in a single view of my costs associated with this particular account. In this case, on the right-hand side, we have the month-to-date spend by service. So it gives you a nice overview to see which particular services are incurring the most costs. In the middle, it also gives you the spend summary. So the middle bar here is the month-to-date. And then I have a forecast based upon the current usage this month. And I also have a historical perspective where I can look and see what happened last month to see where we're at. If I'd like to dive deeper into the costs associated with this account, I click Cost Explorer. Cost Explorer brings up the current costs in the month along with forecasted month-end costs. It shows me how much it's increased or decreased over the month, and I can go ahead and click Explore Costs. By exploring costs, it drops down. By the way, before I do that, look on the right-hand side. It shows the December trends. So SageMaker costs are up. And so we can go ahead also see by region that costs are up. As I click Explore Costs, I now have the ability along the top to categorize and drive down deeper into the costs. So for example, I can look at costs per region. Here it shows that US West, Oregon, is where we're incurring the most costs. I could go ahead and look at an instance type, for example. M4 Large Elasticsearch is incurring the most costs within this account. T2 Micro, T1 Micro, not as much. So you can look at it by instance type. I can also click service to see how I'm incurring costs per service. The nice thing is if my boss came to me and said, Matt, I need a report. Can you give me a report on how much our costs have been over the year to date within this account? I can click New Report. That would be a cost and usage reports. I have other options in terms of reports. I click Create Report. Drop-down menu under last 3 months gives me the option here for year to date, along with 1 year, 6 months, or I can do a custom. So I'm going to do year to date. I click Apply, and now it does show me the costs incurred here per month. And it does show on the bottom here that June and July, we incurred a high amount of cost. July, $1,400, and in June, $1,600, almost $1,700 in costs. So those were busy months. In this case, I happen to know that we were developing a new class, and that's why we incurred those types of usage within June and July in this particular account. So I can go ahead and click Save As. I can entitle the report. So year-to-date costs. Oh, and I happen to already create this one. So year-to-date costs for Matt billing account, let's say. I can click Save Report. And now that report has been saved. Over here on the left-hand side are the saved reports. So there are a whole bunch of different reports that I can go ahead and look at. I can go ahead and even create reports from here. So here's my report that I did create. And of course, it's the same view we saw earlier. The last thing to look at is budgets. Budgets allow us to go in from a cost perspective or from a usage perspective to go ahead and set up a budget that will allow us to trigger an alert when we exceed that budget. So we can set the parameters. In this case, there's a monthly budget. It's associated with cost. It gives us the current cost, and it's budgeted to $300. Forecasted $294. And then it tells us overview where we're at. If I click on this monthly budget, it gives me an overview of what's actually incurred, and it shows the alert. So the alert that was set up when this budget was created was the actual costs exceed by 10% the budgeted amount. In this case, the budgeted amount is $300. The actual costs, if they exceed by 10%, which is $30, then this particular Amazon account or email account will be notified. And when that's notified, then you can go ahead and you know that something's occurring, and you can go in and handle it. It doesn't shut off anything or stop anything. It just gives you a warning. You can also do it by usage. So you can look at the usage of different services within your AWS account. So there's a lot of granularity here that you can go ahead and set up so that you can make sure that you're within your budgets. For example, this account's used to create classes, so we can make sure that in creating a particular class, in testing the labs, that we don't exceed a particular budget, in this case, $300. That changes. Obviously, you saw earlier in the year that we incurred a lot more costs because it was a different kind of class that was more resource intensive. And so that would obviously require us to change the budget, or we would constantly be getting alerts because, as you saw before, back in June and July, it was $1,700 and $1,500 incurred of costs, and the budget's here, it's just set for $300. So budgets allow you to go in and actually keep track and get a better overview of the costs you're incurring within your AWS account. Thank you, and have a great day.
Nice. So nice. Good. Interesting. Yeah? So those are the things that you can do with, you know, the billing dashboard, right? So we saw that. Now we're gonna see the section 4, technical support. Okay. So you know, the technical support is just provides a combination of tools and expertise, AWS support plans, and provided for experimenting with AWS, production use of AWS, business critical use of AWS. Right now, because we have 4 different plans, we have basic developer, business, enterprise. Right now, we have the basic plan, which includes nothing. Okay, only you include It includes access to the forums and frequently asked questions, and this I think it's the 3 cores of AWS, but it has very limited benefits. Okay. AWS support provide proactive guidance, technical support manager, that's a TAM. Okay, this guys is only available available in the enterprise support plan. Okay, this is a heavy duty guy. Okay, this guy knows what he's doing or she's doing. They are very extremely savvy in AWS. And let me tell you something. This plan, the enterprise plan, costs $15,000 a month. So this guy has to be paid well. Okay, and if you want to have dedicated personnel for you, in this case a TAM, you have to pay for it. All right. So the best of practices for this is AWS Trusted Advisor. This is the expert in the cloud. This is the one that gives you recommendations on your services. Okay. This guy is going to be in your exam for sure. Okay. Don't forget that the exam is based on keywords. When you hear the word recommendations, that is trusted advisor. Okay. Very important. Account assistance, you can have AWS support concierge, right? It's a billing and account expert who will provide quick and efficient analysis on billing and account issues. This concierge addresses all non-technical billing and account level inquiries. Okay, this is for non-technical one. This is for the technical part, the TAM. All right. Now let's see the support plans. We have basic, right? You have resource center access, service health dashboard, product FAQs, discussion forums, and support for health checks. That's all you get. Nothing else. You cannot call. Well, actually, you may call. I have a student that make a call and she got a response, or she opened a ticket or something like that, which is very, very, very weird, right? Because, in a basic plan, you are very, very limited. Okay. The health dashboard, the service dashboard is easy to find. You just put, I think it's status at AWS.com. And then you get the service health dashboard. Here it tells you how the services in AWS globally are working right now. Okay. You see here that Alexa in Northern Virginia, we're right now in Northern Virginia here. Well, billing is global. Billing is a global service, but if I go to EC2, I am by default in Northern Virginia. Okay, that's the closest region to me. Okay, so right now Alexa for business in Northern Virginia is operating normally. In North America, in South America, I can see that Sao Paulo API Gateway is operating normally. We want to go to Europe and say that API Gateway in Frankfurt is just working normally. Middle East, in probably these places here, Bahrain. Any other place that is not Bahrain? It's all Bahrain. Oh, okay. Asia Pacific, Hong Kong, Mumbai, Seoul, Singapore, Sydney, Tokyo. All those guys they're operating normally. Now, if you want to see something that pertains to you, that affects your services, then you click on the personal health dashboard. Okay, you click on that, and then you get something that is more pertains to your account. Right now, there's one notification here, Trusted Advisor Operation Notification. It says that Trusted Advisor, last update, November 2nd, affected resources, my account was affected, details. It says the description will impact you if you're using one of the following checks in Trusted Advisor. All these guys here. What is the change? Advisor will remove 5 checks on November 18. Okay. 5 check. All right. This is what pertains to my personal account. That's why it's called the personal dashboard. Okay. The personal health dashboard. Okay, guys. So don't forget status. This is the URL for the service dashboard. That's for the entire AWS infrastructure, right? Let me edit that. Okay. Good. So you have access to that as basic support. That's what we have. Developer support for early development. And then you can have that development. Business support, customer that run production workloads, and enterprise for mission critical workloads. Okay. Those are the 4 plans that we have, support plans that we have right now. Let's see some of the differences, right? So case severity and response time, well, basically we have nothing. There's no case support, nothing. Now, once you open a case with a business plan, they will have a response time to get back to you within 12 hours or less, if it is normal, the severity of the case. No response for high, no response for urgent, no response for critical, because the developer doesn't have a critical, urgent, or high. I mean, you can have all the developers that can help you. You don't need to contact AWS. Okay. Now, low, when it's low, you have 24 hours. So it doubles here. Now, if it is the business plan, then you can open an urgent case. Okay. It's just 1 hour, 4 hours, 12, 24. Okay. For high, normal, and this. And enterprise, then you can have a critical, because it's for critical missions workloads, right? You can open a critical, a case that has a critical severity level, right? And then you're gonna get a response 15 minutes or less. Guys, you're paying $15,000 for this guy, okay? And let me find real quick. Let me find some information about that. Okay, so you can see that right here. Okay. This gives you more information. You see here, cost of the developer one, the basic doesn't cost anything. The developer costs $29 a month, or 3% of the monthly usage, whichever is greater. Okay. The enterprise, the business costs $100 a month, or 10% of the monthly use between 0 and 2,000, and so on and so forth. Okay, depending on the usage. Okay, and you see the more you use, the less you pay. The percentage is smaller. Okay. Now the enterprise one is 15,000 or 10% of it is between 0 and 1,000, 150,000, and so on and so forth until you get to 1 million, which is 3%. Right. So you save you like $300,000 if you use 1 million. Okay. Right, so that's how you do it. The TAM, it's only available for the enterprise. The TAM. The concierge is only available for the enterprise, and the TAM is only available for the enterprise. So as you can see, enterprise has a lot of benefits, but guys, you have to pay for it. Okay, so I will post this, and also I want to talk about the access, right? Access. Okay, the developer can contact AWS only during business hours, and you get email access to cloud support. That so it's the developer gets only business hours. you can open as many cases as you want, and only there's one primary contact. Okay. Now with the business, you have 24/7 phone, email, and chat, and unlimited cases and unlimited contacts. And the same with the enterprise when it comes to technical support. Okay. So I'm gonna copy this guy and I'm gonna paste it on Slack. Okay. I'm gonna put this. Okay, good. So we don't have time for this, guys. There's something that you guys can do later. Is just take a look at the support plans, right? And try to understand each of them. Okay. Now, after lunch, I may ask you some questions about this guy and probably maybe these guys a little bit. I just want to make sure that you guys understand this. Okay. Now, the module wrap up, explore the fundamentals. That's what we did today of AWS pricing. Review the TCO concepts. Introduce the AWS Simple Monthly Calculator and the TCO calculator. Review the billing dashboard. Review the technical support options and costs. Okay. So don't forget to complete the knowledge check. That's very important in Canvas, on Canvas. That's the AWS Academy platform that they provided, right? Sample question. Guys, which AWS service provides infrastructure security optimization recommendations? A, B, C, or D?
C.
Sí.
When you hear the word recommendations, that's the keyword. That's the keyword. And trusted advisor. Very important. That's very important. Okay. So these are some of the guys here that you can. Let me post them. Let me post them in on Slack, so you guys can have that as well. Okay. Right. So you can have those guys there, and you can take a look at that. Okay. And we're done with the first PowerPoint of today. Do you guys have any questions?
Yes, one question. On the exam, do we expect some questions about some, I would say, troubleshooting of something with CLI?
With what?
With using the interface, do we have to do some, do we expect some question? Okay.
No. There's no labs in the exam.
Only
Just
questions. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, no further questions. Let's meet back here at 1:30. Okay? Enjoy your lunch.
Thank you. You too.
You too.